I make all these posts to my Instagram and my community tab about deals going on the Ulta website, sales where I shopped myself, and yet it has kind of been a while since I did a speed reviews video. Let's fix that today. Go figure, today's video is indeed mostly products that I purchased on the Ulta website. We have makeup, we have skincare, 3 sunscreens, we even have some fragrance in today's video. As always, in a video like this, there are timestamps in the description box below. Feel free to jump around to any categories that interest you and skip whatever doesn't. And I would say that the items in today's video lean much more on the affordable drugstore side, which I think is exciting. Well, I guess depending on your perspective, they're more affordable if you shop Ulta. Fragrances aside, although I did pay $15 for that full size back there, it's a great story. I'll tell you the story. Let's go ahead and start out today's video with the category of sunscreen. I guess this seems to be the category of orange sunscreen boxes, at least. But I have got to tell you, I feel like I am so picky with sunscreens, and yet, frankly, these are 3 great sunscreens. Let's start out with the Live Tinted Huegard 3-in-1 Mineral Sunscreen Moisturizer Primer. This is the sunscreen that I know I've talked about in a couple of videos at this point. It just absolutely blew me away how incredible this product is. It is a mineral sunscreen and it does have a tint, but it seems that the way in which Live Tinted added the tint to this product makes it so that it really does complement a much wider range of skin tones. It has a little bit of an orange appearance to it, but here's the thing, it doesn't leave your skin looking orange, or I would have included it in my declutter. You just saw an orange sunscreen get decluttered. Instead, if you look at the ingredients, you see things like beta-carotene, you see sea buckthorn oil. Sea buckthorn oil is naturally this very orange oil, but it doesn't really stain your skin in the same way as something like a red dye would. It does use iron oxides, which honestly is a pretty good strategy in sunscreen. I would say it's a nice complement to a sunscreen. So basically what you end up with is this kind of perfectly desaturated tint to it, where again it's a little orange but it disappears into your skin. This desaturated characteristic is so important to me. I don't know if this is a me problem or if this is more universal, but my skin tone does not look red or orange. My skin, if you get up really close to me, it's actually kind of grayish green. Which in a word I think is desaturated. I don't have a lot of intense pigment in my skin, and I think that's a lot of the problems that I've run into with not just mineral sunscreens, but foundations. Does anyone remember foundations in the early 2000s? They were just all orange or pink. I don't know, maybe I'm not alone. I did see other people saying in the reviews on that Pacifica sunscreen that it was orange, so maybe it's not just a me thing, but anyway, this is such an important characteristic to me. And you know, the problem with mineral sunscreens will always be that the minerals themselves are white. So it seems that companies have to try to figure out how to remove that white without making a tint that is too limited in terms of who can use it. And I don't think I've ever seen the act of making the tint done as well as it is in this Live Tinted product. 18.23% zinc oxide. It is, of course, SPF 30, which I know some people are not happy with that level, but for me, that is absolutely fine, especially in the cooler months when I'm not getting very much sun. That is fine for me. And what a beautiful finish. Now, I will say it is a little drying, probably because zinc oxide is a little drying on its own. It's another one of those ingredients that you're just gonna really have to fight to offset. And you know, they do with ingredients like sea buckthorn oil, with other humectants, so it comes together to make really a shockingly beautiful sunscreen. I think the only potential con that I really do need to discuss with this is that if you're unfamiliar with sea buckthorn oil, it kind of has a unique scent to it. And you smell that in this. You actually smell the sea buckthorn oil, I would say more so than anything else. And it does make sense, this is a fragrance-free sunscreen, so you probably are going to smell the ingredients, including that oil. I think it's possible some people might not like that smell if you prefer fragrance in your sunscreen, for example, but to me, it's totally worth the smell to get such a gorgeous sunscreen. And next up we have the Vichy Excuse my French for how bad it is. The hilarious part is I took French in high school and I actually did really well in it, but I never, and I do mean never, got the accent down. Not even close. Dare I say my French comes off a little Germanic. Anyway, Vichy is, of course, a French brand. This is capital Soleil, an SPF of 60, UVA, UVB protection, water resistant for up to 80 minutes sunscreen. So many people ask me, what is a good non-drying mineral sunscreen? And I've said for a long time now, I have not been able to find one. They're all kind of drying because zinc oxide is a drying and astringent ingredient. Here's what's different about this one. It's actually using titanium dioxide at 14.8%. Now, I admit to you all, I have been a little hesitant of titanium dioxide because, as some of you probably have noticed, I don't really like to cover sunscreens as much on this channel. It's honestly a little bit of a more difficult topic for me. I feel like I've talked about this so much, but in case you're new, I am a nutritional scientist, which is maybe obvious. I feel like it's pretty obvious in terms of how I talk about skincare ingredients. You know, what we do is we look at the micronutrients in your fruits, in your vegetables, in your foods, and we study those more in depth. And so it goes without saying that what I like to do with skincare is I like to look at, in particular, what is actually in our plant-based ingredients in skincare. I love doing that, and it is something that is fairly comfortable for me to do. So maybe it's not even really that surprising that I would tell you when talking about ingredients like titanium and zinc, I'm a little bit out of my element. But that's all to tell you that is why on this channel I don't feel comfortable going off as much on how sunscreen works in your skin as much as I am comfortable talking about what is actually going on in plants, right? It all makes sense. If you really want to understand sunscreen, my best recommendation to you is Lab Muffin's channel. I think she is a really good resource for sunscreen knowledge. What I knew is that in the past, titanium dioxide was kind of considered to be not the best option for UVA protection. And it turns out that with titanium dioxide, we do have newer methods to formulate with this and still offer UVA protection. And indeed, this does say it's broad spectrum. Now, with that new information, I feel much more comfortable using this. And I'll add one more thing. It contains some butyloctyl salicylate, which is an ingredient that, again, Lab Muffin has talked a lot about. It is kind of very structurally similar to a chemical sunscreen filter, which does make this 100% mineral sunscreen claim a little iffy. But what ultimately matters, especially with sunscreen, is do you like it enough to actually use it? And here's the thing. I love this. I cannot believe how much I love this because it is not drying. I thought you just said mineral sunscreens are always drying. Well, yes, they are, but that's because they typically use zinc oxide. It seems to me that titanium dioxide must be much less drying. This really is not a drying mineral sort of hybrid sunscreen. Now this one does have a tint as well, but again, it's a good tint for my desaturated skin. I could see some people finding this to be a little bit gray if you do have much more of a vibrancy to your skin tone. Is that the right way to describe it? This feels strange. But this tint also works for me, and my skin does not feel dry through the day at all. Not at all. Not even at, most of these really highly nourishing and occlusive formulas can feel non-drying for a couple of hours before they start feeling drying. This one never feels drying. So I have to say I'm completely floored by this. I'm actually really floored. A water-resistant, non-drying, mostly mineral sunscreen. The important detail is that butyloctyl salicylate doesn't bother my skin. I am allergic to certain UVA filters over here in the US, and that's why I can't use most chemical sunscreens, but I can use this one. Now listen, honestly, both of those were a little expensive. Let's talk about a sunscreen that is $12. You know Good Molecules came through with the price point. Let's talk about the Good Molecules Sheer Mineral Sunscreen SPF 30. This is my most recent purchase. I bought this just a couple of weeks ago, but I will say, as is always the case with Good Molecules, I love the nothing to hide ingredients list. I love it. I love that I can know exactly what percentages are in these products. 13.3% zinc oxide and 5% butyl salicylate. So it is another sunscreen that does have that kind of a chemical filter in it, but again, it is typically a non-irritating ingredient, and it also is not approved as an active, which is why you never see it in the active ingredients panel. But it does again act as a booster for the sunscreen ingredients. Now this one, in contrast to the first two, is not tinted. And get this, it is actually sheer. It is actually sheer. I bought this because one of you raved about it in my comment section, and I thought, for $12, I'm gonna go ahead and try it, and I see why you were raving. For $12, we have a sheer, honestly, hybrid sunscreen. Again, I haven't been using this one as long because it is the newest to me, but I will say it is nice. It's a nice option. It does start to feel a little bit drying after a couple of hours, which is just typically how things go with zinc oxide based sunscreens on my skin type, but I'm still incredibly happy with it. I think it is very well done, and you know, what's so nice about this is that I do have a lot of K-Beauty sunscreens that I love, and I will continue to order from Stylevanna and Yes Style. But you all know about the shipping, you know it takes a while. It is so nice to know that you can just go to Ulta, get a $12 sunscreen that works and works well. And that is why I love Good Molecules. We have a lot of drugstore brands that the price point just keeps creeping up and up and up. And you know, it's hit or miss with some of those drugstore sunscreens. They knocked it out of the park with this for $12. Thank you to the person who raved about this in my comments. It is nice. Final skincare product here, let's talk about the L'Oreal Revitalift Derm Intensives 10% pure vitamin C concentrate. Now, I'm almost out of this, and at least some of you have to be watching this going, I thought you don't use ascorbic acid anymore. First of all, this is kind of expensive. I feel this is kind of expensive with knowing that products like the Geek and Gorgeous Sea Glow exist. What's the size of this? No, it's 1 fluid ounce? 1 fluid ounce? Well, that's why I'm almost out of it. Anyway, it's expensive, but I coupon at CVS. So I was able to get this for something like $5. And at that price point, I stood there in CVS looking at this on the aisle with its, you know, little security thing on the top because it's a $30 product. And I thought, I kind of want to get that and try it all over my chest. You know, this is kind of a large area of my body. It does get exposed to sun, depending on what I wear, but you know, taking my vitamin C all the way here, that's like 2 faces. I'll go through it really quickly. So I decided to give this a try. By the way, it is also a fragrance-free product, kind of surprising for L'Oreal, and I am pleased with it. I'm pleased with it. It does have a little bit of a thick feel to it. I don't know if everybody will like that. But this packaging seems to be keeping it airtight. It has not yet oxidized or changed color on me at all, and I like it. I think it gets the job done. Again, though, I wouldn't pay a lot for this. I certainly wouldn't pay full price for this. $5, yeah, sure. 30, no. You Geek and Gorgeous. But I thought I'd go ahead and include that both because I've been using it for a while, I'm almost out of it, and also I do get questions about body care. You know, you can certainly use products that are intended for the face on your body. It's just that doing that can be really expensive. And that's why I'd always say if you have a product that didn't work out for your face, you can certainly use it on your body, or you can, you know, get these really good deals and use those on your body. I have 3 makeup items to share in this video, just kind of a small selection here, but great options. I've got to rave one more time. I'm so sorry. I know I've brought this up in a few videos, but the Revlon Skin Caring Foundation is so good. I have not wanted to wear anything but this, and I have some very expensive foundations I should be wearing, but this is such a quality foundation. Oh my goodness. Now, like all foundations, you've got to know some characteristics of it to determine if it will be the perfect fit for you. The thing about this, it says on the front 5% squalane and hyaluronic acid, so it is certainly more of a kind of glowy finish. You do have that oil type of appearance. Not to say it's super oily, but it is a bit more on the glowy side. I would also say it's lighter coverage. I like it most worn in a light to medium coverage kind of way. But the reason I love this so much is that this is such a fuss-free foundation. This is one of those where you can apply this so fast. For reasons that are very unknown to me, my favorite way to apply foundation is kind of old school. I like to use a good old paddle brush and then blend it out with a sponge. And it is just so beautiful, so easy to work with. It is not tricky in the slightest. The shade 209 is an incredible match for me. I think it's also called Buff Beige, which is always what I've worn in Revlon. A great desaturated, muted color. Really a nice foundation. If this was put in, you know, some kind of luxurious packaging, people would have no problem paying $80 for this. It's that good. It's really that good. If, again, your preference is kind of a little bit more of that glowy, lightweight coverage. And I actually made a purchase from About Face, which is technically a celebrity brand. It is Halsey's brand. I bought the lip color butter in Peach Punisher. I'm very pleased with this. It's the clicky type, so don't buy it for too young of people or you'll never hear the end of the clicking. It is super emollient on your lips. It feels a little hydrating. It gives a really nice amount of color, not too much so that you don't even need to really worry about watching your application in a mirror. It does have a strong smell to it though. Very fruity smell. I don't know, some people don't like that, some people do. I like it when it smells good. I just realized this says right on it, made in Korea. I feel like I'm not at all surprised. I'm not at all surprised. I feel like out of all of the Korean makeup that I've tried, I would say my favorite categories are their lip products and probably their mascaras. I really like the Hamish mascara. How about that? K-Beauty from Halsey. Kind of. Well, kind of not. You know. I think I want to grab one of her matte eyeshadows next. I think that's going to be my next About Face item. And then finally, the Pacifica Activist Volume Mascara. Now, I have had it with mascaras and doing reviews on them before the 3-month mark, because in the past I've gone and done reviews of mascara and they've changed entirely too much in month 2, month 3, and I just regret speaking on them so soon. You know what I mean? So I've had this one since Cyber Monday and I feel ready to talk about it. First of all, I really like the packaging. Pacifica actually put this in glass. I'd say the packaging feels more expensive than it is, and it's also got that curved natural fiber wand to it, which will help with lifting your lashes. Again, it's not quite the same as curling your lashes, but it helps with lifting, and that's especially nice for those of us who do not like to use a lash curler. The formula is dry, and at the 3-month mark, it is quite dry, but again, that's pretty much the lifespan of this, although it is stamped 6 months. What is the consensus? Is it 3 or 6 months on mascara? I feel like I get conflicting information on that. It also washes off easily, which is something that's important to me. I cannot stand mascara that is hard to remove. And one more thing, checking to make sure there's no smell in this. Yeah, there's no smell, which is nice. You know, sometimes I use some of those high-end mascaras that have a lot of fragrance. A lot of fragrance in mascaras. I don't get that. I understand fragrance in lip products, but I feel like that's kind of the only place I understand it. Why in mascara? Why would it be in brow products? You know, it doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, overall it's nice, doesn't smudge, doesn't flake through the day, although again at the 3-month mark it is starting to flake a little bit because it's quite dry at this point. But overall I'd say I'm pleased. I think the only catch is that it's $16. Which isn't super affordable, especially when you consider that, you know, this is my most recent mascara. Review of this one coming in 3 months. The Give Can't Stop Staring mascara, this was $20. We've got a $4 difference between drugstore and high-end mascaras. Is this high-end though? I don't know. I'm not gonna review this yet. I'm not gonna do it because again, I'm telling y'all, I've had mascaras burn me so that I feel my review just doesn't tell the whole story, so I'll come back to this one later, but I bought it specifically because of the wand. I will tell you that for now. Okay, I'm gonna try my hand at reviewing fragrances next. Let me tell you in advance, I don't feel like I am good at describing fragrances because I tend to just describe them as people or places. But as some of you know, my sweetie has a great nose. She is incredible at detecting smells, and so I have some notes from her that I will also incorporate into today's video. And let me go ahead and tell you, I bought these from Skylar on the Anthropologie website, and I do have a story with that. First of all, Anthropologie has great sales, but they do the same exact thing as Sephora. You know how when Sephora runs a sale, you scroll down the page and you're clicking all these items and everything is out of stock? I hate it so much. It wouldn't be hard for them to code the website so that those products just don't show, but they don't do it. Anyway, Anthropologie is guilty of the same thing. When they send out an email that says extra 40% off sale, you have to check out the website immediately. If you wait 15 minutes, everything will be gone and you will be clicking through out of stock pages. But if you are early, oh, you can get some good deals. Oh, you can get some good deals. So, I picked up the Vanilla Sky, Capri Summer, and the Rollerball of Fall Cashmere. All of these for $15 each. Yes, I said the Rollerball. They were out of stock of the Rollerball, so they sent the full size instead. I do not object to this. Honestly, that should be the default. That really should be. It's so disappointing to get those emails from Ulta and Sephora that say your item was out of stock. Send the next size up. That's an amazing resolution. Anyway, it does make me like Anthropologie more, I'm not gonna lie. I paid $15 for a fragrance that retails for $90. I am happy. I am very happy. Let's start with Vanilla Sky. I feel like this is one of their most popular products, and oh my goodness, I understand why. I love the smell of this, and I feel like with vanilla fragrances, I do tend to like them. I think, I like the smell of vanilla, but I feel like they can get a bit repetitive. It can sort of feel like once you've smelled one vanilla fragrance, you've smelled all of them. But you haven't smelled this one. To me, this one smells like a coffee shop. It kind of smells exactly like a vanilla latte. There's definitely some kind of coffee notes to this. And according to Ara, I have to make sure to tell you this is an airy vanilla. I don't quite know what that means. Is it referring to the whipped cream on the latte? Because then I can understand airy vanilla. Again, latte all the way. I think a lot of vanillas also smell kind of a bit youthful. It does kind of take me back to middle school in some ways, but again, this one really doesn't because there is something kind of more grown up to this scent. Again, maybe it's simply the coffee notes. There is definitely a sweetness to it, but it's more balanced. And I actually feel like you could get away with wearing this year-round, which is really nice. I've actually really enjoyed it even in these colder months. It has pretty good projection and longevity, which is surprising. I don't think I expected that in a clean fragrance. I'm not going to say it's the longest wearing because it's definitely not, but it's pretty good. Oh yeah, also, the Skylar brand is supposed to be hypoallergenic fragrances. Now, as for Capri Summer, I would say this one really smells very spring and summer to me. Actually, it smells more spring. This immediately smells like honeydew melon. Ara had an interesting commentary on this. When she smelled it, she said it smells a lot like Marc Jacobs Daisy, which I think she's right. Again, I'm not as good at connecting fragrances to other fragrance, but I think she is right. She said there's some kind of an oakiness to this. Again, I don't know if wait, I kind of do smell it. Yeah, it kind of does smell like a boardwalk. Yeah, okay, I can see it. Eating honeydew melons on a boardwalk by the beach. Yeah, I can actually see that. And then let's finally talk about Fall Cashmere. This one ended up being, in my opinion, the most complex out of all three of these, which is funny because it actually has the shortest list of notes. There's so much going on with this, though. So immediately upon spraying it, it smells like Fireball. Really heavy on the cinnamon. I'm telling you, it smells exactly like that. But you can't just immediately form an opinion on this because it evolves a lot on your skin. A few minutes later, it starts to smell exactly like Michael's during the fall. You know how the craft store gets super into fall, right? There's all the candles everywhere, all the decorations. It smells exactly like that store in the fall. But then as you keep wearing it, there's these spices that kind of just start to appear. You kind of smell chai tea. It smells like chai tea, or maybe eggnog. There's almost a kind of milky note to it mixed with the spices. Now, a characteristic that I really like about this, but I don't think everyone will, is that for as complex as this is and how enjoyable it is to just kind of keep checking in on it throughout the day, it is a very close to your skin type of smell. It's not something that projects to everyone around you, nor does it seem to have a lot of longevity. You kind of have this short period of time where you can really smell this and really enjoy and appreciate it, but it's not long wearing and other people won't most likely get the same experience. I like that because I'm somebody who always worries that the fragrances I'm wearing are offensive to people around me. Is that just me? Whereas I don't feel this one will offend people because it is so light. So it's kind of like you're experiencing your own little scent journey by yourself. So, you know, if you're coming to this fragrance from something like Angel or even Sol de Janeiro, it's going to be a completely different experience. Wait, I can't end this just yet. I have to tell you what Ara said about this. Ara agrees with me on all of those characteristics of this, but she also said there's a slight pickles smell to it. I do not get the pickles. I don't get pickles at all. I think this is one of those super smeller things. I know some people smell pickles in fragrance. What's the other one that people sometimes smell? Oh, I can't remember it off the top of my head. There's something else that super smellers are able to pick up on. Anyway, I am not one of those people, so for me, I don't get any pickles, but worth knowing she does. But my friends, that's it for today's speed reviews video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know if you've tried any of the products in this video, what you think of them. And that's it. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like and subscribe. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you all next time.